What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. I need to get a video update. Had some family here over the weekend, so gonna make this a really quick video. We're gonna touch on Bitcoin first. We're gonna do the high time frames. And I'm gonna work my way into low time frames, and then I'm gonna turn around and do Ethereum after this. As Ethereum not only hit our target of about 920, it went right through it and could be heading towards some monthly targets that we've got as well. So stick around. I think that this is going to be beneficial information. And so, our first target on um, Bitcoin, it was 33,344. If you recall from the last video, I said that's where we get a pullback, and we did. If we go down to low time frames, you can see we pulled back off of it. And I said I wanted to see accumulation along the R1, but it really just came down here. It did give us a really nice entry off a perfect 618 touch, and then up it went. So anyone that took that trade with me in the group, there were a couple of them I know that were active. I think Ollie was on it, so got long. I did cut that trade really quick because I had some family in town, and so when I say that, I just cut the leverage portion of the trade. I do still hold quite a bit of Bitcoin in spot. I have taken some profits though. Does that mean I'm out of the market? No, it just means I've taken some of my Bitcoin off the table. I have sold some because this is a macro area that we've been talking about for quite some time. We are going to look at a couple different macro charts. So this is your golden ratio multiplier right here. I was asked in the group yesterday by Peter. You guys may have heard me mention Peter before. He said, what are our targets? I said, well, 33,344. Then I'm really looking to about 36,000 at this R2. But I do think 34,150 is what I'd given at the time is going to be an area of interest, and why it's because this golden ratio multiplier has really over time been pretty indicative on the moves for Bitcoin. You can see going back in history right here that it just gets things very, very well top wise. Now, is that saying that Bitcoin's going to top off here? No, I mean, we can't assume that. Now, there has been quite a bit of profit taking going on, and some people market selling quite a bit of Bitcoin as well. So we have some interesting price action, and maybe the first area that's truly going to determine how high this is going to go. Because if Bitcoin gets over and holds 30,000, 30,400-ish, 30K, we'll just call it 30K, which we see here, in my opinion, based on this macro fib channel I've shown you before. This isn't a new chart to you. If we hold 30,436, also lining up perfectly, 30,450 for the R1, right? We hold this level. I do think that we've got one more week of pump left, and we could potentially run into that $44,132 level up to $50,351. I think that those would be the next two targets if and only if Bitcoin can get through $36,000 and regard it as support. But in the meantime, what it needs to do is hold this level as support here. If it pumps straight to 36K from here, then we can talk about that doing an SR flip there. But if it doesn't, this is the level to hold, 30,436. If you're in the group, they know that I've been day trading this thing a little bit. What I was looking for here was this was a swing failure pattern that I was monitoring, and it was on the 1-to-1 of Fibonacci time for our low earlier. So this was a really easy long, looking to regain the daily value area low and then work our way to the daily point of control. We will touch on the low time frames towards the end of the video if you guys are interested in that, or you could just join the group and kind of stick around with us. But that was one thing I was looking at, and then I'm looking at this potentially as a Gartley, and I told him it was really tentative because in this, set forth, I said these are the times that I'm most interested in right now. And that's just using some local fib time from our move up to determine where the 1-to-1 is, the 1618, where our 618 is of potentially this pivot into the 1-to-1 of that pivot, and go from there. And that's what I was trying to do, was build a harmonic off of it. And so we did have some really obvious areas to long just a second ago. So you had the daily value area low after we basically got denied off of the daily point of control, didn't quite touch it. Also your 618 there. Then you come down, you've got the daily value area high, and then there's your weekly value area high that has creeped up over $1,000 today. So that's been really interesting. It is one of those where, yeah, weekly value area high. Sorry, we do have people that don't trade with us every day as the group is growing. So it is a free group. Feel free to join. I'll get you guys caught up to speed as quick as I can. And then I get a lot of people asking about when the course is coming. So hoping to get it out in the next week or so here, guys. Bear with me. I've got quite a bit going on, not only with the holidays and family, but just keeping up with price action in the group. So for now, I mean, just enjoy all the free content, and The group itself will remain free. There will be a premium section if you guys want to get a couple live streams a week, get some educational stuff in. You're more than welcome in there. It's just one of those things where that won't be something that's offered to the free side of things. So, but the free group will always be there, so you'll always get to see charts, stuff like that, and hopefully learn something. And that's the idea here. So, what we were looking at though on this was this golden ratio multiplier at 34,150. That was the area of interest. And so I have been selling some Bitcoin. I'm not anticipating this being a top because you don't want to be that guy that calls a top, mainly because if we do get through this area, like we talked about, that 36K area, the move up is going to be, in my opinion, fairly quick. We could run all the way to $50,000. So we've talked about that in the past, though. We also know that this is a one-to-one of our cycle peaks right here, January 4th all the way to January 11th, and that we have macro fib time coming in on January 9th. We're going to take a look at all those things going forward. So, yeah, I guess we should just jump right into that. The last thing before we leave this chart is I do have the weekly 21 up right here. It is creeping up into that $18,000 range. So this is something you can use the weekly 21 or you can use the 20 moving average. Let me change the color of this one real quick. Sorry if I'm rushing this video. My kids are eating dinner, so it's one of those things where I'm trying to beat them from the dinner table before they come up here and interrupt me. But yeah, your 20 MA is at 15,800 roughly, and then the 21 EMA is at about 17.5. These are slowly creeping up. So if Bitcoin does finally do a macro pullback and a washout here, obviously we're going to be keeping an eye on these two. It's no secret to anyone that trades that these are the bull market barometers. If we're above them, we're in a bull market. We're below them, we are in a bear market. So just stuff to have on your charts going forward. All right, guys, and so this is your macro fib time here. You can see that it's coming in on the daily. We are looking at this as macro fib time that caught the $3,000 low, the China pump, and then it has caught our breakout here all the way up to this current position. And so now what we're looking to do is this: we can hold this 30,415, also the one spot 414 of this move. I think we'll be doing okay. Now, this is a trend-based pull, and I'll go ahead and give you the coordinates. You've seen it before in this video right here, macro targets 30K to 35K 2 weeks ago. Also on July 28th, there was a video on it to show you guys where I pulled this from, show you how I got to some of these targets and so forth. So this is the BLX, so it does not update overnight, but we have hit the $34,890 level. So we did smack right into the 1618 of this trend-based pull. These are the coordinates for it right here. These are BLX prices, so they might be a little off from the exchange you're in now, but the BLX does take a, to me, it takes precedence over almost everything else because it's a culmination of all the exchanges and it has the most history. So for me, if we can get through this area and the R2, the next natural area is the 2 spot here at 42,349. That is also between the $40,000 and $50,000 values that we gave earlier. So lining up with exactly what we were just talking about and saying that, macro target wise, fib wise, it doesn't really make any sense for this to stop after $36,000 until it does reach this, $43,000 to $50,000 level. And I do believe that you even have Fibonacci pivot coming in here between those two values at about 46. So that would be the next target. Anything from 40 to 50, but $46,000 does have a little extra layer of confluence. Does that mean we're going to get there in 6 days? I doubt it, but at the same time, guys, I mean, this thing has just absolutely been doing everything that we said it couldn't up until now. I mean, we all said it could do it. We just didn't know it could do it this fast. So for me, it's really important just to keep 2 levels on your charts. Can we hold 30K roughly? Can we break 36K? If you can break out of this range, whichever way this breaks, I think is going to probably dictate the next several months of Bitcoin price action. So if this breaks to the downside, I do anticipate it's coming back possibly all the way to the yearly pivot here, maybe lower. If it breaks to the upside, I'm just looking straight to $40 to $50,000, give or take, with an eye at the median of those two at about 46. All right, so that's where we're at on that. Let's look at the low time frames, talk about some trades that we took. All right, guys. So here we are on the 15-minute time frame. You can see that we had broken out right here of this old range. I took an anchored VWAP from there and we were buying that. And then from here, after we ran up to that $33,400 level that we identified, right? That was our resistance right here at the 1.272. I didn't take any shorts there. What I started doing was looking for longs, and this was the level that came up. You can see that the 618 is coming in perfectly at the yearly R1. So this was a really nice long. Now I only took it to the 618, which is around the daily open area. And so that was a leverage long for me. It ended up very well, but I held most of my spot positions as I separate my scalp account from my, long-term swing trading account. And then from there, I've taken the Fibonacci time from these 2 points right here, point A, point B, and just kind of calculated the one-to-one of the entire move. Took the swing failure right here where you can see that we took the liquidity of the lows on this move right here, just like posted in the group. And so what had happened was we wicked down below, we closed above, reconfirmed as support, and then we got to move up to the daily point of control over the daily value area low here. So you didn't just have the daily POC there. The overall 618 of that move was also here. You can see that your golden pocket's coming in. So it was a really easy trade to take. And now I am just monitoring this here, looking to see if I'm either going to get this at the 618 or if I'm going to get it the 1-to-1. I would really prefer this to come in at the 618 here in a few hours. And the reason being is I really want to see us get a long chance off the 786 and the 1618 of this move and the value or the volume weighted anchored price line here that's coming from the break of the range. So this anchored VWAP would be coming in ideally in this region at the same time, and that would give me a little extra confluence to take this trade. So that's what I'm monitoring right now. It's not anything that if we get there and price looks really weak and it's just absolutely dumping, obviously I'm going to want to reconsider my positions. But knowing that I've got this going on here and it would be a front run of the R1, which I think a lot of people are looking for, I'm going to go ahead and take the trade. Now, if I get stopped out of this position because it does continue to dump, I will be looking down to the R1 for support. If I can't find support there, I just have to pull my fibs and go from there. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Your daily open from yesterday is also here. The reason the daily open was so key was if we go to a daily time frame and I told them in the group, this is such a key area because if the daily open was to close below it, would be our first level of daily resistance that's formed since way back here, right? We haven't formed a daily level of resistance since down here at like 26,500 or 26,323, however you want to look at it. That's your last daily levels. Everything else has just been straight up on the high time frames. So should we lose the R1, one of the first regions I am going to look is obviously we probably have a nice golden pocket in this region if we were depending on where you pull from, but I would be looking down to here at this daily level of support. You've got a little bit of an order block here before the last move. I think that the 26.5 region would probably give you some level of support. So it also comes in at the bottom of the old range. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of little things there that say that should we lose the R1, we could come all the way back down into this region. It just really depends on if we can find our way back into this range or not. And it's really tough for me to call that right now just because Bitcoin has been so bullish that it's hard to really look for downside right now. So I'm not taking any shorts. What I am still doing is looking for longs until the uptrend is broken. But I do know that we are at macro resistance and we're coming into a macro Fibonacci time pivot. And so for me, I'm being extra cautious right now, guys. But I understand, again, if you just want to look at this as a blanket statement, you could just say, okay, if we break $30,000 to the downside, when I say break, I mean like close some candles underneath there and actually live underneath there. I think that more than likely we can start talking about a top. Now, if we break $36,000 or really even 30, to me, like the break of 35 grand to the upside, that's not a swing failure pattern where we take the top and then take that liquidity and close back down inside of it, is probably a good indication that we're at least going to challenge that 36.5 level. But I would give the nod to the bulls at that point and I'd say, at this point, we're probably going to break 36.5 and I think 50K is on the table. Now, all those numbers seem like they're really far away, but with the way price action has been going, I want to talk about it early because if we don't, we won't be prepared for it. So we need to be prepared if $30,000 does give up and we start putting in a macro top here, we need to be ready to start buying at these lower levels. And I think that the first area of interest is that 26.5 region down in here at these two daily levels. If we can get opportunities down there, I think they would present good buying opportunities for bounces. If it just nukes through there, I mean, at that point, I'm almost not interested in buying Bitcoin until I come down to that yearly pivot. I'd have to really reassess and see how patient I'm willing to be, because I do think that over time, it's going to take a while for us to get to those levels. But to the upside, the same thing. This thing can just turn around on a dime here because we haven't lost any real support. You can see that we've still made a high, a low. We did make our first lower high, but we still haven't made any lower lows, right? And the real lower low that I'm interested in is going to be right here, is going to be on this, yearly R1. If we lose that level, I think that, we can start looking to lower targets, macro lower targets for some buys. And obviously, I'll dedicate a video just to that, and I'll update the group. But for now, it is one of those things where I am just playing this as one big range. It's going to put in some form of a pattern here, whether it's a Gartley or something else. Yeah, that was the 3 drives I was looking for. It front ran the 618 here. You can see that. This would have been a really nice symmetry play where you had the drive 1, drive 2, drive 3, all of them going into the golden pocket, but instead it front ran it by a little bit and then off it went. So, yeah, I mean, this does have the look of a shoulder head, like it wants to do that, but it's too early to call. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. So let's move on to Ethereum. Ethereum is doing things. Ethereum hit the 0.66 of the golden pocket here, had a pretty nasty rejection, and then has just kind of continued up to hit the $1,011.07 mark. So if Ethereum can start holding this region as support, right? In reality, it's probably about the $1,000 region. If it can hold $1,000 as support, I think that we'll see 1124 to 1149 on Ethereum. But for me, this was a major, major take profit level, just like Bitcoin. Does that mean I'm out of the market completely? No. It just means that, hey, if I had some longs in place, I made sure that I paid myself. I know that if I miss some of the move, at least in my full position size, it's okay. And if Ethereum gives me the opportunity to get back in with some strength, I will be glad to do so because I'll have the capital to do it. So not overthinking Ethereum, guys. Like I said yesterday, I thought Ethereum looked good. I knew that if we cleared the weekly here, it was going to be a quick trip to the $900 to $921 level. It indeed was, and then it gave us the extra $100 even. So the real question is will Ethereum give us the next level at 1149-ish, 1150-ish? To me, it looks like it's going to do what Bitcoin wants to do, and so we kind of got to watch Bitcoin and see. Now, if Bitcoin starts ranging and altcoins begin to play a little bit, I think that would be more ideal. But again, that's all dependent on Bitcoin. I'm more inclined to say this is pullback territory. And the reason is it's been areas that we've been talking about for so long. And so you can't just abandon that thought process and that plan just because it's made such a move up. If it starts taking these levels out, absolutely. But am I getting into any positions based off those? No. What I'm doing is I'm taking profits and I'm making sure that I've paid myself and put myself in a position that if this does do a full-scale pullback, I can still get out, take profits on my remaining positions, and then look for the next best opportunity. Which you can see that the next golden ratio, it's basically a moving average that's multiplied by a Fibonacci level, is coming in over the yearly pivot. It's coming in right at 22,910. So I mean, that's quite a ways down there, guys. Now, by the time Bitcoin gets there, maybe it's at the $25,000 level. But we have to keep some of these macro levels in the back of our minds here and say, okay, where's really the opportunities? Where's my area of value? Should I be buying at these levels? I mean, the thought process of buying at these levels right now is mind-boggling to me. So it's just one of those things where we're being extra cautious. This is kind of a different style of update. You guys know that I'm usually a little more technical with everything, but it's been a busy weekend. I haven't spent as much time on the charts as I want to, but I did want to get my thoughts out there, more of a psychology thing for myself and how I'm looking to trade the market, the levels I'm watching, and then, wish you guys well. As always, if you have any questions, just tag me in the group. And I am looking for about $31,400 right now. It was a 786. The reason I was looking for this initially, by the way, is that the weekly value area high, actually, if we go back to this, um, yeah, value area high has jumped quite a bit in the last couple hours. You can see that it used to be at 32,945. Even before that, it was down here at 31,663. And even before that, in some of these earlier posts, you can see that the weekly value area is just climbing and climbing and climbing. And so I was really wanting it to be down here near the 786. That's why I was so interested in it. But it has come up quite a bit, and it does make me kind of loosely question whether or not this 31,400 will hold. So I will kind of keep a tight stop loss on it. If you wanted to play this, the safest way to do it would be to use your invalidation as X here below the R1. That way you can, adjust your risk percentage accordingly, and your position sizes are small in this instance. And if it is a reversal point for a bullish Gartley, you can take it to the upside. But the longer this goes, the less I like it. It's just one of those things where we were looking for it earlier in the day, and a plan is a plan, and I want to stick with it. The only other time that I was looking for in this consolidation was this 1.618 right here coming in about an hour after the daily close, which is coming now. So curious to see how close this is going to close to the daily open and what we get from there. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. This one about 10 minutes too long. It's just me rambling and probably repeating myself a lot, but these are exciting times, and it's been a busy weekend for me. So I will try to do my best to get you guys a more organized update out here in a little bit. But if you guys have been following along the channel, I feel like you've been in a good position to have taken these trades up to that 33,344. You knew about the 34,150, the golden ratio multiplier, and you know that we're looking for 36K if we can clear that level. But we also know that this is going to be a very important macro level, in my opinion, and that this R1 right here is going to remain a very key level at $30,450-ish, $30,500 going forward. I think it's going to play a pretty big role in the next coming week as well. So again, like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one.